Nobody has died. We've almost lost my buddy Travis about half a dozen times. Car accidents and heart attacks, but Travis is still alive. That's awesome. Mr. Carter will tell you that's rare. Most of the time whenever groups come back for 10-year reunion, they've lost one or two. About 20-year reunion, they lost several. That's just the way it is. At the time, we were the largest class to ever come through Nettleton. Graduated about 150 kids, and everybody is still alive. And we don't know where some of them are, but they're all alive. Nobody is died. That's a great thing. So whenever we catch word that one of our classmates that we love so much has a bad diagnosis, or it hits me hard. I promise you that. And that's the case with the next guy. One of my best friends from way back is cool old Brian Dedrick. And Dedrick, I know he'll tell you a little bit, he'll tell you all the story, his story that he wants to in just a second, but he had cancer, colon cancer, had surgery just a couple of weeks ago, and is undergoing chemotherapy right now, and still made the trip to Jonesboro to be a part of our reunion. One of the funniest guys I've ever known, and maybe the most beloved member of the class of 1989. When I first met him, he was about that foot tall, and he had cat-eye glasses in third grade, and he was mean to me too at first. We got over it, we're good buddies now. Here you can for Brian Cool Dedrick.
Yay, Brian!
I tell you what, when David just mentioned Ralph Crook, funny story about him, I didn't really know the guy that well, but Ralph was a connection where I could get over to the McMillan twins' house. so I told my mom, that's a great guy, I'm going to spend the night with him. Of course, Ralph said, come on. And I said, I like both of them, didn't matter which one. And so I go spend the night with Ralph. And mind you, this will be the last time I spend the night with Ralph. But anyway, made my way over. I said, well, let's go see the McMillan twins. Let's go see the McMillan twins. You got a 50-50 shot here. Shannon always liked tall guys, and Shelly, I don't know, Shelly just kind of liked me every once in a while. So anyway, that was my story with Ralph Crook, and it's funny because I forgot the name, but that was the last time I saw Ralph. We departed, but I found other ways to get to the McMillan. A couple of stories I want to tell, or mine are more after school, because we had a lot of good time. My neighborhood was we had a lot of students in the neighborhood, and I'd make my way, and most of the guys aren't here tonight, but I want to say their name anyway. Chris Bloodworth, his mom would make the best chocolate chip cookies you ever ate, and so I'd make my way over there for cookies. Then we'd head to April Isabel's house, and she had the swimming pool, and so we would swim over there, and then I'd make my way down to Ross and Jeremy Long's house, and Jeremy had a little sister that I believe she was confined to a wheelchair, but every time I went over there, I put a smile on her face, and it always made me feel good because she said, Brian's here. And just love that little girl to death. And I just found out from some of the guys back here, she's still alive and doing well. So, and then as we grew up and made our way a little bit farther on our bicycles, we made our way down towards Stephanie's house, Replogo. And that's where we had a lot of parties, and she had the big house in the basement. And then I made my way to Craig's house, and that's where a lot of interesting times went, because Craig and I had a Nintendo set up, and then to this day we're still undefeated. We had Brian Carter over there trying to beat us. We had Jeremy Ellison, and I will say that a couple close games, about the time that somebody may win, we lost power in his basement. And so, to this day, Craig and I have never been beat in baseball, and that's just a fact. And then I made my way, of course, the last person I saved here, and I still got Stacy to add something with, but well, let me say Stacy first. I had a motorcycle, and I always liked Stacy, and I used to try to get to her house. It seems like I tried to get to a bunch of girls' houses. I found the woman of my life.
That's right. That's right. She's the best. She's the best.
Been married for 19 years in May.
Yay.
Every time I went to Stacy's house, I'd look to see if her dad was home. I called him tired. And if he was home, I kept on going. And if he wasn't home, I went in. And then if he came home, I hurried up and I left. But Stacy and I have been through a lot. We had a very good friendship throughout the years, something I cherish. But probably the person that I grew up with the most is my buddy Brian Carter. And his parents took a liking to me, and I pretty much lived with Brian throughout the years. And we did, either I was at his house or he was at my house, and we just had a good friendship, played ball together for a long time, and wiffle ball, street ball, basketball, you name it. Brian and I, he's just been a good friend. And a little bit about the story. I had Betsy took me in for a colonoscopy. I guess 5 weeks ago. Thought it was routine, and ended up being colon cancer. Had a surgery done the next week, and anyway, started first round of chemo yesterday, and so I got these hiccups, but they're going away. But the special thing, I kept hearing from my dad about the class of '89 sending prayers toward me. And it was something really neat, because I started getting texts and phone calls and from students in my class, and it was something that kept me really in the hospital. Betsy never left my side, but in the hospital it was kind of neat to get the text and the emails and the phone calls from your classmates 25 years ago. So that's something that I will never forget about the friendships we had and what we shared. And Brian, all of a sudden the hospital door opened, and it was Phil and Karen Carter. And I thought that was the neatest thing ever. Karen came and sat down, and I've been working for when I left Jonesboro, I went to A-State for a couple of years, and I finished up my accounting degree in 1996. Betsy and I married, and I started school 2 years earlier than her, and we graduated on the same day. My mom reminded me of that a lot. But bottom line is, Brian went to college and finished up at A-State, and then got his master's, and I finished up at UCA with an accounting degree. And when his mom walked in, Phil looked good, and had, of course, Phil had raised me just like his own, and it's something I'll never forget. Karen came and sat by me, and she shared about an hour with me. And I'll never forget, she looked at me, and I'm the spokesperson with North Rock Police and the sergeant over media relations now. And she said, I can't figure something out. She said, we always thought you and Brian would graduate high school. No, we kind of figured y'all for that. But she said, he's the principal now, and you're the spokesperson for the city of North Little Rock. She said, this just doesn't sound right. And I have to say, a bunch of teachers would probably think the same thing. But anyway, just everybody who's prayed for me over the past 6 weeks has been very appreciative. We're very heavy in the believing in the power of prayer. Matter of fact, the oncologist that I was going to see, Betsy called and said, are you a Christian? And we found out he was not. I'm not trying to get in a religious match here, but we ended up getting a different oncologist. I told Betsy, I said, we're in a little bit of a pickle here. We need an oncologist. And so anyway, she found us an oncologist that suited our needs better. But anyway, I appreciate all of the texts and the phone calls and the words that have been sent through my dad. Craig, I really appreciate you calling, checking in, and kind of giving everybody an update. David Mason, the man of 1989, he showed up in the hospital room and talked to me and had a very nice prayer to say and told me he would update everybody. So I appreciate that, David, and I appreciate everybody. And I think that's what makes the class of '89 very special for me, is to see you all here together and us one big family. So thank you very much.
Very cool, very cool. Well, at this time, I'm going to hand the microphone over to Shelley McMillan, who Brian was supposed to get. Her husband Jay is back there filming this. Just wanted to remind you that you're married. She's married. But anyway, I'll hand the microphone over to Shelley. She has a special presentation.
We all love Brian. Everybody loves Brian. I'm trying to get this out crying. But
So glad you came up today. And our giving's not done. We've collected $750 for you to help you through this time. I think that says a lot for the class of 1989.
You bet. I've been struggling with a cold.